Hello, welcome back. So in this video, I'll try to create a role and permission based authentication system without using any third-party packages. So will use the feature gates and policy features in Laravel. So let's start. So I have a brand new project here with all database setup. So if you want to follow along, just pause the video and create the database and set the name and everything. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we'll create a post and we'll create for now we'll just create two users, one author or writer, whatever you want to call. So another will be admin or editor. So generally we'll create author and editors. So what authors can do is they can create post, they can update their posts, whereas editor can update any posts. Also only editor can publish post. So authors cannot publish posts. Their responsibility will be just to create posts. So we'll create just two user for now. Okay, so first let's create a post model with controller. Okay, so let's go to create post migration, which we just created. Okay, so our post will have this fields. So this will be default increment ID and title and slug, which will be unique. So our body of post, and to check if it is published or not, also the user ID. So timestamps we can delete. Okay, next let's create roles. So we'll create role model and also migration. Okay, after that let's save this and let's go to create post migration, create role. Okay, so here we'll add couple of field like the name of role. Okay, so one field will be name of role and slug, and the permissions. So the permissions contained in that particular role will be stored inside field. So this is just defining the data type of field. So this will be the JSON. So default will be the empty JSON object. Okay, similarly we have to create a role user pivot table to assign the role to users. So let's create that. So PHP artisan make migrate. So while creating pivot table, just follow the alphabetical order. So role is first and then users, rather than users role. Okay, so after that is created, let's go to that migration. Create role users. So here I'll paste schema. So generally we are creating the role users table with user ID and role ID with timestamps. So these are just to make them unique, and if user is deleted, that particular role will be deleted. Similarly for role. Okay, so next we'll create a couple of roles. So for that we'll create a database seeder. So let's create one. PHP artisan make seeder roles seeder. Okay, let's go to that class roles seeder. Okay, so inside here I'll create author and editor. So let's so we created the name field author, slug will be author, and permission will be create post. Similarly, let's create editor. Okay, so the permission which we allow editor is update post and publish post. And let's go to database seeder, and it will seed the role seeder. Since we are using this crate, we need to make these fields fillable. Okay, so let's go to role class and make it fillable. Okay, since we are here, let's define a relationship with user. So users, this role belongs to many users. Now let's go to user class, and yeah, fillable all set. We need to define a roles method. Okay, so this belongs to many role class, so one user can have many role. Okay, now let's migrate and seed. So PHP artisan migrate and seed as well. Okay, if you get error while migrating, you can change in your create roles migration, just use text rather than JSON. So this is the newest feature which allow to query the JSON and store the JSON object as a data type. So just change that to text, that will do. And in your role seeder, just do JSON encode and save the data in permission field as a JSON encode data, so that will work. So after that you can run PHP artisan migrate, refresh and seed. Alright, so that should create a table in our field. Okay, so we got 2 rows by default and other fields are empty. Alright, so after that we'll run PHP artisan make auth to just scaffold the authentication. Okay, let's do that. PHP artisan make auth. Alright, now we'll make our rule option available to our register view. So if we go to our register view, currently we have just simple registration, so we'll add here rules select box so that we can select what kind of rule we want to allow the user. Okay, for that let's go to register controller. Okay, so here if we go to this registers user trait, you'll see there is a method named show registration form. So this is generally showing the register view, so we want to override this method in our controller. So let's go all the way down and we'll first fetch our rules. Rule order by name, and we'll just plug name and ID, and we'll pass that to this view. Now let's go to register blade, and let's add the form to show select box. So here is form group for register button. We'll just add above this. Okay, these form groups are similar, so yeah, I'll take one, like I'll take for name, and I'll just paste it here. So form group error has role. This is just to show if there is any error. So here we'll loop through roles and display our options. So for each roles as ID, alright, so that should work. Let's go to browser, refresh. Okay, we need to import that role in our register control. Alright, so we got our role, author or editor. And in register controller we can add the validation for role field as well. We can make it required. Okay, we want to modify this create function as well. Since we added roles, we want to attach the role to user. So we'll not return this yet. User. So after that, user roles attach data role. So that role is available from our form which we are getting here. And after attaching role, we will return user. So if you go to user.php, yeah, we have this roles relationship defined. Also we'll change this to slash. Okay, now it's time to create a new user to see if it is working. So I'll create mathematics editor. Okay, let's see what changes we get in our it's normal here. So role users, user ID with 1 get role ID 2. Role ID 2 is editor, and it can update post and publish post. Alright. Okay, now it's time to define policies. So policies so that user can access different part of the website. So it is generally the way of protecting our actions. So in order to define that, let's go to auth service provider. Auth service provider inside app providers. Okay, so by default it got register policies, and we'll make a new one called register post policies, and we'll define it just below here. Okay, so we use gate facades to define. So gate define, and name of the middleware will be create post, and function. So this user is authenticated user, so this is automatically injected by this gate function. So this is generally the we were checking just authenticate user is able to create post or not. So if I return true, if I return true, this user has access to create posts. So the way we define this true or false is by checking like user has access. So this method we haven't defined yet, but it will be great if this will be available in our user model. So this function should return true or false depending upon the type of action we pass it here. So we'll pass array, so this may be more than one action. So for now we're checking for if current user can create post or not. So this has access method we haven't defined yet in our user model, so let's define. So we'll define that method so that it accepts array, and we'll loop through this array and check if user has is allowed to make that action depending upon we'll look into our permissions table, role tables, so that it has permission to do this create post action or not. Okay, so let's go to user.php, and here we'll define that method has access. So sorry, so it will accept permissions, and it is of type array. So we can do like this in PHP 7. Also we can do like this so that it returns boolean. So if you are not comfortable with that, just leave that for now. And we'll loop through roles. So since permissions are inside roles, we'll first access the role and then permission field inside role table. So actually what we're gonna do here is first we'll grab the roles of this user, and then we'll check for permission. Since we're storing our permissions in roles table as a JSON object, so first we'll grab the role of this user. So the way we get is this roles, since we defined it here, these roles. Okay, so we'll loop through that for each this roles as role. Okay, so we loop through each role of this user, and if any of this role has this permission, so the permission we pass from here, create post for now. Yeah, if any of this role, so if role has, well, we can create has permission or has access, uh, has access this permission. So we'll check for all permissions, will return true, and if not, will return false. Okay, so we look through each roles. If any of role has this permission, we return true, otherwise false. So we are using that in our service provider here. User has access to this permission. So if true, this user is allowed to perform this permission. So this action, create post action. Okay. So now let's create this role has access. So same method in our role model as well. So let's go to role.php. Okay, let's copy this into our role has access permissions, same as before. So here for each permissions, so if this has permission, so if this has this permission, will return true, otherwise false. So let's create this method here. So let's make this protected. Has permission, so we'll accept string permission. So return this. This means role permissions. So actually this permission will get us all the permission present in our role. So permissions. So since this will be in JSON, we will do JSON. So JSON decode and true to make it associative array. We'll look for permission. So now this will be the associative array, and we'll grab this permission. So if that will be the create post, we'll access this value, which is true. So it will return true by default. So otherwise false. So it is the new syntax in PHP 7, which is a short form for this. So this is the ternary operator which you have been using. So if this is true, return this, otherwise false. So I'll use short form. Okay, so that should work. Let's go to our service provider and create some more gates. I'll just paste it here. Okay, this is for update post, and we are passing like same like here. So since we are updating post, we need to pass the model also. So post model and publish post and see all drafts. So currently we can just leave that. So these are some of the permissions. So it is slightly different for updating post, since we are updating the existing post, so we require that post model injected as well. So we need to add app/post. Okay, this looks good. Let's define our route. So web.php. So here let me just delete the default code, and here I will just paste in some of routes. Okay, so the home page should take us to post controller index, and post page should take us to same page index. So we defined a group of route with prefix post, and the drafts will take us to draft and list all draft, and we assign the middleware auth. Similarly, for showing post, we defined like this. For creating post, so here is that gate we just defined come into place. So we have this scan middleware already defined in our Laravel application by default, and we pass this create post additional parameter to check if to only restrict this route for user that can create post. So we assign that gate which we defined here in our route. Similarly, for creating posts again, so this time for storing posts. Similarly, for updating posts, we defined like this. Also we need to pass the model, name of model, so post. So edit, and this is the post request. Okay, since we defined these routes, let's go to post controller, and let's define these methods. Okay, let's go to post controller and define index method. Now let's create a post.index, and we'll make use of this home. So first just save it as, we'll create a new folder called posts, and we'll save it here as index. Okay, so now we have post.index. Okay, so you can display just post heading or something. So I've created some layout, so I'll post that. Okay, so here this panel heading will contain the heading of posts. So this is the new button, so link to create new post, and we are restricting that link with can and can. So this is the route which we defined in our auth service provider. Generally that is the gate. So yeah, so this will be the link to that post. Also we are looping through each post, and we are displaying just post body with 50 items, and this edit button which can only be visible to those who have permission to update post. Yeah, so this is how we make use of this update post and create post. Use app post. Okay, currently we do not have any posts, that's why. Okay, next we'll create a create method. And we'll create a new file here. We'll call it create.plate. Okay, you can create simple form, but I'll use this same panel heading and all stuff. So heading, and we're using the default layout which Laravel gives us when we generate make auth. So this is simple form with title, and yeah, so this is just displaying error, and we got the body and error display for body. Okay, so we got action is unauthorized because we are not capable of creating post, so only author can create post. So our authentication system is working. Okay, next we'll create store. Request, and we'll get data request only title and body. So we'll create slug for posts. So we got a helper function for that. So we'll make slug out of title. Okay, let's go to post and define a fillable field. To show individual posts. Okay, similarly, let's create a show. Yeah, so I've just pasted these snippets. So we'll just display title and post. So list post will just display the unpublished posts, that will be drafts. Okay, so I think we are done. So this is basic create, read, update with post, and we defined our these permissions here, and we created some roles. So you can create more roles. I'll just create this time author. So web tab author, create web tab, Okay, previously we are unable to access the create, so I think this time we should be able to get there. Okay, we were getting error because we forgot to return here. Sorry about that. So now we should see, yeah, we should see form. Okay, let's create. Okay, web tab authors. Let's resend. Okay, looks like we need to update our fillable in our post.php, so we accept slug. Okay, so if you see currently the post is not published, it is generally in draft. So if you see create, it direct us, so it take us to the update post, so where we can update our own posts. Okay, so since we are author, we can create our post. So I want to create a method to show that drafts. So drafts, and drafts will be the post where published equals to false. So in order to show drafts, what we can do is we are pulling all drafts here, and we can pass it to drafts view, like return view. So the problem here is we may not want all user to view the drafts of all authors. So we will only allow drafts user to view draft if it is allowed to view all drafts. So for example, I will just restrict that functionality using get just here. So what I want to do is I want to just show the draft to user if it is allowed to do so. So for example, if get denies to see all drafts, so this is the permission. So if get denies to see all drafts, what we want to do is we want to draft, so drafts query. So for now just make it query. We are not sure whether we need to pull all package all drafts or not. So draft query, drafts query will be post where published equals to false. We just don't want to pull yet. So this is the query, and if get denies, so drafts query in that case will be drafts query where user id equals to auth user id. So if get denies to see all drafts, we just show the drafts of the user, so authenticated user. And now draft will be drafts query. Now we want to get our paginate. Okay, so here we define this. So we are using get denies, but we haven't defined this. So let's go to our service provider and define like this. So get defines see all draft and user. So all drafts should be visible to editor only. So we are checking with this method in role editor. So if user is in role of editor, we allow him to see all drafts. So yeah, let's define this enroll method in our user.php. So this method will just check if it is in role or not. So here we set role slug, means this roles means a user's role where this slug count is equals to 1. So this will return true or false. If it is 1, it will return true, otherwise false. Yeah, so that's also done. And one last step, we need to define a drafts view to show draft. So that will be similar to index, so I will save it as, so it will be very similar to that, and just, yeah, these buttons. So currently we have no links to the drafts page. Let's go to layouts, app, and let's add a link to drop down menu. So let's add list item, and here inside a href will be route list drafts. So this route name we defined in our web.php drafts. Okay, so let's go to home page, drafts. Okay, sorry about that. In our post controller we need to, yeah, we referenced this gate but we haven't used that, so let's use gate. Okay, so in our draft it is saying undefined variable post, so let's make it similar to that. So let's call it posts that. Okay, so we got these two drafts. We can edit, cancel, yeah. So currently we are author, so we cannot publish this, and let's switch back to our other role. So login as webdev@gmail. So if we see drafts, we can see all drafts. Yeah, we can publish this time. Yeah. Okay, currently publish method doesn't exist. Let's quickly make that. Space that publish method. So that will just take post and just make it true, save, and return back. So this route we have defined, we must have defined here. Yeah, publish post @publish. Okay, let's go back, refresh. So if we go to home page, we shouldn't see any post. Let's publish this one. Okay, so that is published. Let's go to home page. Yeah, so this post is published now. Cool. So this is very simple role and permission based authentication. So let's review what we have done till now. So we just created a roles table, roles user tables. So these user tables are all default. So in roles table we define the permission here, and role user table we use to assign the role to particular user. And so the main part of this application is inside auth service provider. So here we define the policy for post, and we defined our gate, So create post, update post, publish, and see all drafts. And with this definition we have access to our these middleware. Yeah, so since we defined that gate, we have this scan middleware with this create post, update post, and publish post. All these middleware are accessible to us. So if you go to for this route, we haven't used yeah, we can use that in our see all draft. Yeah, we could have used that here, but so to show we can also use gate by using this denies or allows. So this is also same as using that middleware. And in our view we can use @can to restrict the user to show these links or not. So hope this video is helpful to you. So I'll see you in the next video. So please do subscribe and give a like. That will really motivate me to make more videos. So bye.